yourself the riches in life that you deserve. So call in now and let Bernadette Boas know what's holding you back. 818-572-2910.
Well, happy day, everyone. Welcome to Shitting the Bitch Radio, and this is Bernadette Boas. And on this very hot, steamy day, I sound like a broken record, don't I? Each week, for weeks now, months actually. Oh, it's just warm, very, very warm. And I'm in Atlanta this week. Hopefully it is nice and comfortable wherever you are. I actually have to oftentimes turn down my air, or actually turn it off sometimes when I'm doing my show, because the background of the air conditioning running kind of creates this very much of a vacuum. But anyway, so if you see me starting to sweat, for those of you who are tuning into Shitting the Bitch TV on YouTube, or if you're listening, you might just hear me like start going groggy or something. And at the same time, doing something with this mane of curly hair that I've gotten these days. Oh, and stay tuned for that. I'm actually going to ask your help to figure out what to do with it, because it is just getting out of control. But anyway, I digress into things you really don't care about. At the same time, the contest will, definitely give you some nice Shitting the Bitch prizes if you want to participate. Stay tuned over the next few weeks. Anyway, Shitting the Bitch Radio, Shitting the Bitch TV, and everything that we do here at Shitting the Bitch is all about dialoguing, debating, and really helping you kind of discover and confront all those little inner demons, what we call bitches, of fear, insecurity, doubt, unworthiness. So you can kind of release them from your heart and your head, and you can go and pursue life fearlessly, boldly, audaciously, whatever kind of fits your most desire. And today on the show, I'd like to kind of blend in multiple topics. One, because the fact that last week we talked a lot about kind of women rising to the top and what happens when that happens, the haters that might come out of the woodwork. And we were specifically talking Marissa Mayer of Yahoo. So I was asked to comment on multiple blogs and whatnot regarding some of the other announcements that went on this week. So we're going to touch base on that. And then the primary discussion for today, and for you to really think about as we do have this dialogue together, is all around the heroes in your life. And oftentimes, as it's been proven this past several days, out of the worst situations, out of the worst tragedies, out of the worst even personal, maybe you're in your own little world, circumstances really reveal heroes in your life. And that might even be you. And so I thought we could honor and acknowledge those people in Colorado and those of us around the world that are working to make a difference, putting all of our kind of greeds and selfishnesses aside to kind of help mankind in even the smallest of ways. So we got a lot to talk about in our brief time together today, and I first want to kick off with a reminder. July 31st, we're going to be kicking off our Take the Pledge campaign. And so our goal is to help 100,000 women and men to take the pledge to shed your bitches. Our goal, your goal in life, is to live a very, very, very rich life, and we want to help you with that. And taking a pledge kind of grounds us in making that commitment to ourselves. So go to shittingthebitch.com, sign up to be a member of our community. We'd love to have you participate, be a member of our TV channel on YouTube, of course, Blog Talk, Facebook, Twitter. And over the coming weeks and months, we are going to provide you opportunities to engage and collaborate together. And at the same time, win prizes for your contributions. And it will all lead up to a grand prize that will be drawn at the end of December, early January, of 2 free round-trip tickets to anywhere in the country. And you can take advantage of those and use them for our retreat that will be happening in the spring of 2013. So go to shittingthebitch.com, become a member, and then at the same time, you're also going to get free membership between now and the next couple months before we go fee-based and get all the access to all of our great content on sheddingthebitch.com. So I would love for you to go and collaborate and engage and interact with myself and everyone that's out there in the community, and help everybody, including each other or ourselves, to shift from bitch to rich. That's what it's all about. But let's dive into a couple of these conversations, and feel free, I'd love for you to call in 1-818-572-2910. Would love to hear your input, your disagreement, your agreement, your story, whatever the case might be. Feel free to do that. You can also go to blogtalkradio.com/sheddingthebitch and chat in with us. So I keep an eye on the board. I'm a great multitasker, but technology can kind of slip me up every once in a while. But I'll be watching the board, and if you'd like to chat in a question or a comment, I'll be watching out for those as well, even if it means I have to put on my reading glasses. But anyway, those of you listening will never notice. Okay, so let's dive into this. Let's first talk Marissa Mayer, the new CEO of Yahoo. And I'll kind of level set with some background, not that you've been necessarily focused and paying attention to it. And I don't think any of my listeners live under a rock, so I'm sure you've at least heard some tidbits around this whole thing. But anyway, so Marissa Mayer, a top Google executive, young, 37, 38, somewhere around there. And she just got pulled away from Google to Yahoo and got appointed as the CEO of Yahoo, in hopes to do a lot of the same things she was doing over at Google, but of course with their own value proposition of trying to get Yahoo back in a position where one of significance and relevance in the marketplace. So that's all fine and dandy. So she gets assigned, huge win for women. I have to tell you, I'm sorry, but I have to stand up on the mountaintop and kind of beat our chest, because the more women we can get into high level positions. You don't have to be the CEO of Yahoo. You could be the CEO of your own business. You could be the CEO of your department within an organization, whatever the case might be. But positions of influence, positions where you can make a difference, and where you want to make a difference. And that's how I see any of these type of appointments, no matter how big or how small. A lot of us would love to think that our climb to the top could reap us $100 million, as it will her, should she stick around and accomplish the goals that's laid out for her. But I even read that even if she were to leave, it's a $100 million package for taking on this big job, so to speak. So that was great. I think that was like a week ago today. That was announced. And I sat there, everybody was praising this appointment on Tuesday, and I sat there and actually put out on LinkedIn and Facebook and a couple other places, waiting for the haters, waiting for the shoe to drop. Because, as much as we'd love to see people succeed, we love it even more when they get ripped down. I personally don't, but at the same time, that's the kind of, unfortunately, the world we live in. So it didn't take long. By Wednesday, the haters came out. Oh, the woman's a bitch, the woman's aggressive, people hate to work for her, she's not a people person, she, blah, 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 blah. And of course I had to add my 2 cents to it, around the fact that people just can't accept, say she was a bitch, say she was, a devil wears Prada, 10, 15 years ago when she was young. She's 37, okay? What she's accomplished. Anyway, so say she was, but now she's changed. And at least that's what a number of other people that came out to comment on it. Give people a chance before you just want to rip them apart. So that was Wednesday. And then by Thursday or Friday, it was coming out that she's pregnant. That they were announcing that she's pregnant. And of course, the haters, the debaters, the whatever came out and comment on the fact that, oh my God, did they really know she was pregnant? And why would they hire her if she was pregnant? And oh my gosh, now, you know, she is tearing down women and tearing down the idea of women taking care of their children and work-life balance. And, you know, her husband, Zach Bogue, was even quoted back in 2009, I think, around the fact that, you know, there's no difference between her from an executive perspective and her from a female home wife and now future mother perspective. There's just no difference between the two people. Work is a part of her. And I have to admit, I can understand and appreciate that, because, and I'll even say I'll support it, because I was like that even in my corporate career. You couldn't separate the two people very distinctly. And now I live to do what I do. I really do right now. And because of the fact that I just love what I'm doing. Now, I've also have found a way to balance the two. You know, even if I am working 24/7, I make sure that I have time for my friends, for my doggy, for my family, and for the people in my life. And so, you know, you would just hope the same, you know, in regards to Marissa and how she sets that whole thing up. But the one thing that really struck me about this whole thing was how everybody was coming down on the fact that here she just took on this major responsibility and she's about to become a mother, and she's only going to take a couple of weeks off for maternity leave. And it made me think of one poignant point, and that is, you know, men have always had nannies. They've always had nannies. It's called their wives. And sometimes they even had a nanny on top of their wife, so they can then continue pursuing their career. Well, guess what? Women can have nannies too. And women can hire someone to take care of their children just like the men do. Now, her husband, Zach, is so to speak, an entrepreneur. He can choose to you know, take care of the child, be the primary caregiver throughout the day. But I really just find it just really little, really just small, ignorant, small-minded, whatever you want to call it, to think that women have to give up everything in their life to be a mother, to be a, you know, wife, to have a family. I'm sorry, but I do believe in you can have everything. Do women have different elements of their nurturing, caring, giving piece? Sure. But at the same time, that should be appreciated and honored, as opposed to ripped down and, you know, act as if they have to make sacrifices over and beyond men. Men, you've had your nannies. Let the women have them now too. So that's Marissa. And I'll be watching anxiously to see this woman succeed. I mean, anxiously hoping that she's given the opportunity from all of us to succeed. To not just be sitting on the sidelines just waiting until, oh, one other comment, and waiting until she falls off what they are calling the glass cliff. Now, I've been around corporate for many, many, many years. You all know that. But when I heard about this little concept this morning, I got on LinkedIn and I was pissed. I haven't finished writing my true feelings out there, because I had to get onto this program. But all of a sudden I was kind of just following up and making sure I'm up to date on what was going on with Marissa and all the controversy around her appointment. And all of a sudden I came across this article around the fact that she is now sitting on the edge of a glass cliff. Supposedly this concept has been around forever and a day. Hey, I'm not and have not been the CEO of a Fortune, you know, whatever company like a Yahoo or a Google. But at the same time, I pretty much know a lot of concepts that have been around from a corporate perspective. And the glass cliff, I can guarantee you, you know, maybe I can't guarantee you, someone's going to prove me wrong, maybe, that this glass cliff concept is all of a sudden arising. I mean, the woman's not even in a chair for a week, and they're already saying that, oh my God, she's sitting on the glass cliff and people are just waiting for her to fall off. Glass ceiling God, she finally broke it, and now they've created a glass cliff. And all I have to say is, men, where was that glass cliff for you over the centuries of you heading up, you know, businesses and industries and whatnot? You know, why don't they ever talk about that when it comes to specific men that rise to a top position? And all of a sudden there's this glass cliff concept. So for those of you women in corporate or just rising to the top of your own small business or whatever the case might be, read up on that and kind of draw your own conclusions about it. But be aware of it, and yet don't let it stop you. Okay? Life is a cliff. Well, life is just one big bungee jump of excitement, or if you look at it in ways that some people do, or one large fall. You know, that if you're living with a lot of the bitches in your heart and your head. And so it's an opportunity to really take a look at the dynamics of what an appointment like Marissa Mayer at Yahoo is generating out there in the buzz world. And, you know, really kind of finding your ground, where your position about it. And then not holding back as to agreeing or disagreeing, debating or dialoguing about it. Because I think it's important for us as women to really take hold of making our dreams and our riches come true. And that, as a reminder, is also what our Take the Pledge is all about. The campaign that we'll be launching on July 31st, as a reminder, is about, you know, taking the pledge to commit to yourself to let go of all the crap that's in your heart and your head, and that also comes at you from all the societal elements around you, and really just pursuing life furiously for whatever it is that you want to accomplish. And so go to sheddingthebitch.com, learn more about it. Sign up on sheddingthebitch.com because you'll be the first to have the opportunity to take this pledge and join in our community of what we are targeting as to be 100,000 of you who stand up and take the pledge to shed your bitches. Okay? So I'd love to hear your feedback, your comments. Go anywhere. LinkedIn, go to our Shedding the Bitch blog page, go to Facebook or Twitter, and I'd love to hear from you. Oh, and in regards to that, I really want to thank all the people over the last several weeks especially that have just been running to follow us, whether that is on Facebook or Twitter or on our webpage. And some of those people, like from Facebook, are Denise Green, Faith Adams, Tim Reynolds, and Donna E. Park. I actually know Donna right here from Atlanta. And then, of course, there's a boatload of you from Twitter on our Shedding the Bitch page. Self-Help WW, Madeline Fisconi, Sex Sells Butt. So if you want to follow somebody interesting, and it's a gentleman, go to @SexSellsButt. And you'll be surprised about what it's really about. It's not anything profane or anything. Let's see, we have Andy in Edmonton. That's his handle, Andy in Edmonton. And then we have @GFB Guy and My Prayer Today, @MyPrayerToday, Andrew Horton, and a number of other people. Thank you so much for following us, and I hope that we're going to be giving you and planning to contribute to your world through all those networks in a very rich, engaging, and collaborative way. So thank you so much, and that's just kind of our weekly shout out that I wanted to do. And we also do that online, so you can see that on Facebook and Twitter as well, where we thank you and acknowledge you for following us. And I would suggest doing the same for each other. It's a great way to kind of build community, so to speak. Okay, in our last 10 minutes, I want to actually take about 10 seconds, and I just want us to kind of go quiet and just, in whatever fashion, just acknowledge the victims and the heroes within Aurora, Colorado after this weekend's movie massacre. So I'll watch the clock, but let's just take 10 minutes to be quiet, okay? All right, I just I've been doing that a lot since Friday, just looking over the profiles of the people that were in that theater, never paying attention to the idiot and the gross person. I won't even spend time thinking about them, talking about them, nothing. This is a time that we need to be really focused on the victims and the heroes of this this unbelievable tragedy. And my heart, my prayers, my well wishes go out to each and every one of you out in Colorado that are dealing with this, actually around the world, who have been impacted by this event in some way, shape, or form. So, yet, in all beauty, in all connection to the heroes, I did want to talk about and acknowledge and kind of have a dialogue with you about heroes in our lives. And specifically kicking off, leveraging those stories that are coming out of Aurora, Colorado. Because I don't know about you, but I've been glued to the television since the event late Friday evening, I guess it was. And hearing the stories, whether they were coming through the news or through the visit with President Obama or wherever, just sitting, online, it's quite inspiring. And really just provides you hope. I would hope you would agree with that it provides you hope in mankind, because there is so much drama and so much negativity and ugliness in the world. And every time we turn on the television, we see it. But I truly believe, like many of them are reporting, that the haters, the gross people, such as that gentleman, make up such a small percent of the amazing, wonderful, supportive, giving, loving heroes and individuals that are in the world. And that's where I believe we should focus. So I was kind of touched on a few stories that have been coming out. One of them primarily is in regards to the two young ladies, Stephanie and Allie, who Allie was shot in the neck and fell to the ground, and Stephanie, her friend, threw herself on her, dragged her back into the row, away from the aisle where the guy was kind of walking around. And amidst all of that chaos, she was able to kind of, at least hold back, secure the wound in her neck until help was able to get to her. And here she had the opportunity to run if need be, and even Allie was hoping that she would run, but yet she just decided to stick it out. And therefore, Allie, I'm not sure of her situation right now, I think she's fine, was saved. The other one that I found very interesting was there was a brother and sister group. I'm going to have to put on my reading glasses. But Nick Yowler and his sister Samantha, and then Samantha's boyfriend, Matt McQuinn. And Matt took a couple of bullets. Nick jumped on top of his sister, and I believe Matt jumped on top of them both. And Matt was shot a couple times and unfortunately died, while Nick and Samantha walked away relatively uninjured. Samantha might have a small injury, but here Matt sacrificed his life in order to protect his girlfriend and her brother. So that's amazing. And then the same thing with a man and his son, who also was out with the son's girlfriend, and the man jumped on both of them in order to protect both of them, and unfortunately all three of them survived. Lastly, what I heard just yesterday, and I haven't seen much press on it, and I'm not going to have the names, unfortunately. I should, because the young girl's been talked about a lot. But one thing that I learned, I think it was last night, was there was the youngest victim, 6-year-old girl, and a woman was shot as well as the young girl was. But the woman fell on top of the young girl. And another young girl, teenage girl, came along, or was in the same row, attempting to get the girl knowing that the woman was alive, attempting to get the girl out so she could help her, and yet the woman couldn't move and laid on top of the young girl. Now, I don't know if the young girl was already passed away, and there was nothing that either one of them can do, but it must be just heartbreaking for that young girl and the woman that fell on top of her to think that maybe she was still alive, and yet the other woman was injured in some way to where it prevented her from moving. But that young teenage girl took quite the risk to try to help both of them. And it's just stories like that. Now, granted, I would pray and hope to God for all of us that a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of us deal with such a tragedy in our lives. And so therefore, I'm not wishing anybody to have a hero in their life to that extent. But I know for me, for instance, if I wrote it very raw in my book about my hero being my father. But we all have heroes in our lives in one way or another, and we've been a hero in someone's life one way or the other. And that's what I really want to leave you thinking about today is, who are those heroes in your life, and how can you honor them, even in the smallest of ways, even if it's not personally to them, but more so in your heart, to where you really cherish and can recount what that act of heroism meant to you. And maybe it was a person who just came into your life in a time that you really needed some support and help. Maybe it was somebody who kind of, prevented a tragedy or a accident or some situation for you. Maybe it was just somebody who believed in you. And like my father, who believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. And so I just wanted to really make sure that we took the time today to focus on really honoring those heroes in our lives and making sure that we also work toward wanting to be a hero in someone else's life. I'm not telling you to go out and find a situation and put yourself in the middle of it in any way, shape, or form. At the same time, it's amazing my awareness to those around me the last few years going through kind of this metamorphosis, this transformation, this whatever you want to call it, and really paying attention to how I can make a difference in someone's life. Even, over these 30 minutes of this show, there just might be something I say or something that I share or something I reveal, whatever, that just kind of, puts a smile on your face or makes you think about something that you didn't think about before. Those are hero opportunities in our lives, and we really want to pay attention to them so we can contribute to them and we can acknowledge and honor them in our lives. So in our last few seconds together on this lovely Tuesday, hot, steamy Tuesday, wherever you are around the world, be a hero in someone's life, and then come back with us next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time for another episode of Shedding the Bitch. Go to our website. Let us know about your hero story. You can actually win prizes by contributing to our blog this week. And then remember, take the pledge. It's coming July 31st. So sign up at sheddingthebitch.com to be a member of our community, and you'll get all the inside scoop before everybody else does. So for everybody here at Shedding the Bitch, radio and television on YouTube, I want to thank you for spending your time with us today, whether live or in archive. And I'll look forward to having you right back here next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Have a rich and prosperous week, everybody. Bye.
Seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.